Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and notes mashup video today. Quite a bit to get through, so we'll crack into it. Chisora will not be the next opponent for Deontay Wilder. So that has been ruled out by the Wilder side, and let's face it, it was a pipe dream, and I think most people knew that there probably wasn't going to be a Chisora's next opponent. Wilder was never flying to the United Kingdom. You have Shelly Finkel, Wilder's co-manager, saying Derek Chisora, he just edged a split decision over Kubrat Pulev. No way. Maybe the winner of Usyk and Joshua. I don't know what Fury is doing. Maybe if Joshua wins, it's a huge fight in the UK. There's so many intangibles. We're looking to see what happens in that fight. And as we know, Deontay Wilder currently ranked number 1 in the WBC, and that's despite back-to-back losses to Tyson Fury. And you have Shelly Finkel on Tyson Fury in that retirement saying, I don't care what Fury says. We're waiting to see what he really wants to do, because if he wants to fight the winner, then he's going to get it. But after that, where are the top guys? There's only 4 real top guys in the heavyweight division right now. Usyk, Joshua, Fury, and Deontay. I'm looking at everything, and we're going to be making our decision, but we're not there yet. We've gotten several calls. I don't know how real they are from outside of the US and the UK, and we're checking those. Then once any of those are real, that'll dictate another opponent. And also, as we know in recent days, Frank Warren has claimed publicly that Wilder's return opponent after his 2 losses to Tyson Fury will be Robert Helenius. And Helenius's manager has confirmed in public that Helenius has a fight for a couple of months' time that will be a pay-per-view event. Whether that's the main event or featuring on a card, unclear. I guess this will all shake out soon. But another PBC fighter, Andy Ruiz Jr., is hoping to get the WBC title and then potentially retire. So he says, I don't know what's going to happen or whether Tyson Fury is going to vacate the belt. I don't know who is going to be the person to try win that belt, but that's my mission now. After I get that, I can retire. So Andy Ruiz Jr., who's previously held the other 3 of the 4 main sanctioning belts when he defeated Anthony Joshua in 2019. If he gets the WBC, that would complete the set, but of course he wouldn't be unified. But I'm not sure that matters to him, because he's saying, once I get that belt, I can retire. Does that speak of ambition in terms of a long-term sort of foray in the division? I mean, it could take him a number of years to get there, to get that belt. But if he was to win it in the next year or so, maybe we would see the back of him reasonably quickly. But Ruiz Jr., he is one of those sort of dark horse characters in the division, with that upset against Joshua proving that on his night, he can beat anyone. And of Tyson Fury, who was mentioned in those first 2 stories, he currently holds the WBC title, says he's not vacating, but says he is retired. He's looking to have a potential exhibition or exhibitions with a number of fighters, but Hafthor Thor Bjornsson, obviously of Strongman and also Game of Thrones fame, has said that there have been talks for a potential exhibition fight with Fury. We'll see where that goes. It looks like Otto Wallin is shaping up as Joseph Parker's next opponent, or he seems to be a strong contender for that at this point. As we know, the Joe Joyce fight has fallen over. There's been talk from Ben Shalom of Boxer and Sky that potentially Deontay Wilder could be an option, but I think that's also unlikely for the reason that a Derek Chisora fight is unlikely. So of a potential fight with Otto Wallin, his name has been mixed in with some others. He says, we're still hoping, this is Shalom, of the Dillian White rematch and Joe Joyce fight for him, but we have an offer for him to fight Otto Wallin. Sounds like Dillian White may want a tune-up fight after his loss to Tyson Fury. And let's face it, with White, he's probably thinking a 2-fight lucrative deal, a somewhat easy lob, but also well-paid first fight, and then a pay-per-view event against whoever it would be. So that would leave Parker needing an opponent, and there's no Joe Joyce fight for him just yet. So you have Otto Wallin. Potentially also there's Wallin's stablemate, Jermaine Franklin. You have to consider that as well. But Parker and Wallin, that's an interesting matchup style-wise, because obviously about the same height, or Wallin a little bit taller, and then you have southpaw, and both these guys have good skills. Parker probably has the speed advantage, and he would consider himself, I'm sure, the favourite to win that one. I don't mind that fight if it gets made. It is one of those sort of fights where at the moment there's a logjam at the top of the division. Parker's not getting a shot at a title in the next year or so. So these sorts of fights are decent activity if you can get them. The American heavyweight prospect Jarrell Anderson is set to return to the ring on August 27. He'll be on the Pedraza Comey undercard. As the press release says here, he'll be facing Miljan Rovcanin. And Rovcanin, he was beaten last against Ajagba about 4 years ago. He's been on an unbeaten run since then against nobodies effectively. So for me, this is another sort of kind of like the Teslenko fight and a couple of others where the guy that he's facing has got some talent. He should provide some limited test for Anderson, but I think the golf and class will be evident, and this is probably leading to another knockout. And actually, the Rovcanin's last knockout loss was 4 years ago to the somewhat light punching Ajagba. So you have Jarrell Anderson, who's returning from injury, remembering he was going to feature on the Tyson Fury Dillian White undercard, had to pull out due to injury. He says, I'm 100% healthy and more than ready to get back in the ring. I'm creating a legacy for my last name and growing as a fighter with every fight. Tune in on August 27 because the real big baby is back. And also, you do have a couple of other heavyweights going to be featuring on that card. Ajagba. He's coming back from a pretty bad loss to Frank Sanchez. He'll be facing Hungary's Joseph Damos, who's got a record of 14-4-3. So expect probably a knockout and a vicious one at that. And then you have also Trey Lippe Morrison, who's also coming off a loss. He was stopped by Mike Belligan, which was, last year, I think it was, and he didn't look good in that one. He was iced and in pretty brutal fashion. So this is going to be a card which I think it was in, was it Temecula? No, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that is, of course, where Trey Lippe Morrison has been living, residing, etc. May even see, I wonder if you'll get prospect Jeremiah Milton on that card. He's fought on a couple that have been in that area. Of the fight, Jarrell Anderson says with Rovcanin, back with bad intentions, and I'm sure he will be. I think there'll be another good performance, highlight reel sort of knockout. He'll probably go a few rounds and then blast out Rovcanin. And then you have Ajagba, and he says, I'm looking forward to it. And I think that is going to be a brutal knockout. Adam Kownacki has had a open workout session where he's been quoted as saying, it's amazing to be back at Barclays Center, and remembering he's facing Ali Aaron Demirjian the end of July. This is on the Danny Garcia, Jose Benavidez undercard as the co-main event. I can't wait to be back in there. I'm ready to get back in line for a championship fight. I've just had to work on my footwork and keeping my hands up. I have to be smart. One shot can change everything. It was some bad luck getting caught in each fight. I tried to make the best out of it and leave everything in the ring. It was a life lesson. I'm coming back stronger. I've been sparring with no issues to the broken orbital bone. I'm feeling great and I can't wait to return. I want to be active again. I'm focused on this win. And then we can talk about getting back in the ring early next year. It's tunnel vision on July 30. I really appreciate the fans who have been there to support me. Barclays is going to be red and white. I'm excited to feel the atmosphere. Those fans keep me motivated mentally. Right now, I'm just focused on Demirjian. That's the man in front of me. I have to tear down that wall that's in front of me. That's all I'm focused on. I'm facing a strong Olympian who's got good size, so I'm expecting a great fight. It's going to be a good test for me, but I'm looking to ace it and move on to better things. Right now, Demirjian has all of my attention. A couple of quick things to pick up there. There's been a number of statements in the past few months since this fight was announced. This is the first time that Adam Kownacki has said something about his defense, about keeping his hands up. The first statements, when it was announced, he sort of blamed some out-of-the-ring issues for his performance and sort of put it on that. The second time, he talked about needing to improve his footwork, but let's face it, his defense is terrible, so keeping his hands up is advisable. Little disappointing to say that he's looking forward to getting in there and then he'll be back early next year. I would hope to see him again by the end of the year, but I guess a lot of these PBC heavyweights, they're only fighting once a year if they're lucky at this point. It's still, the pandemic is playing an effect, I believe, and they're expensive. And a lot of broadcasters are sort of cutting their cloth accordingly. Management companies like PBC are just trying to obviously navigate their way through this, as every other boxing promoter is. And I think the heavyweights are fighting less regularly because of that, because they're expensive. But Demirjian, yeah, he's a test. He's got a good engine. He'll throw a lot of punches. It's got the potential to be aesthetically a fun fight. Demirjian's not a big puncher, but Kownacki has been seen to be to gas. So can Demirjian outwork him? It'll be interesting to see. We'll learn a lot from this fight, how much Kownacki has left, because if he's got any desires in the heavyweight division to do anything, he needs to beat him, and beat him well. An opponent has been confirmed for Jarrell Big Pharmacy Miller, so having a second comeback fight, which will be on the 23rd of July. Derek Cardenas is the opponent, an 8-9 journeyman, and this is going to be in Murfreesboro. So Nashville. So that'll be interesting to sort of see. Miller has come back. It's evolving. People are a little bit sort of on the fence or saying they don't want to see him. But I think there is also that sort of element of rubbernecking that people just can't help but look to see what's going to happen. How is he going to look when he steps up? But this is just a stepping stone back to it, to a higher level. He has been training with Joe Cusumano. As you can see here, he says, "We out here working." That is Cusumano. "Don't sleep on us." And then you have Jarrell Miller, and I'll play this clip.
Yo, it's your boy Big Baby Miller here.
Stand there,
you know we back, full attack. I got my ass whooped by the talent styling today, but it's all right though. It's okay though, it's good work. I need to work. Check out my man right here. He's coming for everybody. Except me though, I don't want no smoke.
So make of that what you will. Jarrell Miller training, ready for his fight July 23rd, only a week away at the time of recording this video. Cassius Chaney will also be returning, and this is in August, 6 weeks time, and this is going to be on the same card that Joe Cusumano was going to be on. And interestingly, all of that card, I had a look on BoxRec, it's all TBA. Cassius Chaney and Joe Cusumano, that should have been a fight. That's a good crossroads fight for both of them, but not made. A little bit of fight news. This fight had happened this morning. Haven't caught it live, but Argon Smakici beat a journeyman, and his name is super long, so I'm not going to try to attempt it in case I butcher it, but he was expected to win. Basically busted him up with a jab, double jab, dropped him first round knockout. And of course, you have Argon Smakici, and actually, I guess this must be the jab. There wasn't much action in the fight. And then you have Argon Smakici, who's currently a training partner in camp with Anthony Joshua. So he's been in and out a couple of times now. And rounding out this heavyweight news and note smasher video, so a little bit that we're getting through. So Dave Allen, who sort of, teased his comeback, said he's coming back, and then he's been injured, it's postponed. He says Rhino 47.0 incoming. So we'll have to see Allen and how this tracks. He's been talking about a comeback for some time, and this is on screen here. This was part of the leg injury that derailed it most recently, because he had said he wanted to be out this month. I guess we'll see what happens with Allen. What's he got left, and is he really dedicated to the sport, or is this more about fitness, keeping himself mentally a bit sharp, because he has spoken previously about needing some of that routine, the training, just to have something to aim for that keeps him on track. As we know, he's managing fighters, also training fighters. So whatever happens, I hope his health doesn't suffer if he comes back, but good luck to him. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.